Hi guys, hello and good morning. My name is Steve Pugh. I host a live stream here on the internet. I have a business called the Roadmap MBA, and basically we are looking to bring free business education and training to the world. And what we're trying to do, essentially, we are a mission-based organization where we're looking to empower people that don't have access to traditional forms of business education and training in the endeavor to hopefully lift up and empower different communities from around the world. This wasn't planned, but also it's quite interesting and quite topical. So I was having a debate with various different people this morning on LinkedIn, especially, and it was all to do with diversity and inclusion on different panels and different things. And what's really funny is that as a business leader, if you are part of a business, if you run events, if you are the leadership team or anywhere, to be honest, in your business or career, there's always that element of the ability to lift up and empower people, to give people opportunity, to give people a voice, or not to. And having been through my career, I've benefited in many ways through being a white man born and raised in England. I've had a very good education and I've managed to do some really kind of good stuff. But almost it's because of that and because of the things that we've been able to do, and I've managed to kind of travel the world and work with loads of incredible people, that when I started my own business, I genuinely wanted the ability to lift up and empower other people, because it's something that I didn't have 10, 15 years ago. It's funny, I put up a post, it was technically last night, but there's a lot of chatter about it this morning. And it was about a recent panel here in the northeast of England on a business event. And, yes, it featured the 7 people and 7 speakers, but they're all middle-aged white men, as I am. And it was that kind of thing of where I knew it would be partially controversial if I kind of called it out and said, look, come on, guys. Why is there no women on the panel? Why are there no people of color? And it's a common sense thing that we will get better at business. We will have a more diverse debate on different stuff, and actually business performance will improve if we have a different range of viewpoints in everything that we do. I genuinely believe that, and hence why if you look on our channel, you'll see lots of different presenters and different backgrounds and different things. Today, completely unplanned, but it's just fortunate timing or not, or whichever. So basically, you might have seen a while back I advertised for new presenters to join the channel. One of the people that actually applied is a lady called Danielle Vassell, who's a fabulous filmmaker. And basically what I'm going to share with you today is one of her films, which is called Women of Impact, and it's about sharing the stories of different people from different backgrounds. And as soon as I saw it, I thought it was fantastic. But what this kind of does, it just proves the point of the brands that you work with, the people you partner with, the people you spend money with. For me, it's important to really look at actually what do they do, who are the stories of the people they share, who do they hire, where do they spend their money, and vice versa. Because actually, for me, it's important. But I'm always going to hire people who are just the best people to hire. I want to share the best stories. I want to get the most interesting podcast guests, and that's a conscious choice. So today wasn't meant to be a political statement or whichever, but it was just something I wanted to well-timed. So this is a 22-minute film from Danielle. It's really fantastic. It's really kind of uplifting, and it's something that we're really passionate as a business, is to help people in lots of different communities to be able to empower and grow and get that promotion or start that business and really kind of make a great success of it. I will tag Danielle in this post once it's kind of gone live. I can't do it when I post, but I'll do it afterwards. But if you want to reach out and send her a message or anything, I'm sure she would much appreciate it. So that's enough of me. I hope you enjoy the film. If you've got any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out. And yeah, jump in.
I wanted to make this film to enable other ladies like myself, especially of colour, to have a voice within our generation. I feel that's very important, and women empowerment is very dear to my heart. My name is Danielle Vassell. I am a business management graduate from the University of Derby. I am also a motivational speaker. I currently work as a project officer at a voluntary organisation for the Elders Network to deal with issues such as isolation, vulnerability, right of entitlement and more. I'm also a mentor for young girls to ensure that they are the best they can be and who are from unprivileged backgrounds as well. And it's wonderful to be a part of that opportunity.
I recently graduated from the University of Derby. I specialised in English and media studies, and so I'm kind of involved with journalistic work or anything to do with production, and I'm currently working towards pursuing a career in academia.
My name is Sinai Fleury. I'm a journalist. I work in radio as well as a freelance journalist with various print organisations, print magazines and print newspapers. I'm a mother of three, proud mother of three, and I'm a child of Caribbean parents who came here and worked really hard. I'm also one of 7 children, so I come from a big family.
My name is Gabrielle Stapleton. At university, I'm in my final year studying criminology and sociology. I'm also involved in an organisation/network called Black Women in Science, where they just help to motivate and encourage Black women in that field to get involved in different organisations, societies and even careers. I am a singer-songwriter, and if I'm not leading worship, then I will mainly go to other events and perhaps sing some of the songs that I've written or just say the poems that I've written.
My name is Keely Stevenson, and I work with young people who are currently a part of the criminal justice system. I also work with care leavers and foster carers as well.
Right from my birth, I've always had to prove people wrong, whether it be doctors or other people that doubted my ability. My birth has impacted me and impacted my family and others who I share it with. My book is called My Journey of Hope, and it talks about my miraculous birthhood of weighing 1 pound 4 ounces and was given 0 to 5% chance of survival to live. My mum was willing to sacrifice her life for me. They said, it's either we take the baby or we save your life. And she said, I'm willing to risk my life for my daughter so that she can have a chance to live. And I'll never forget that my mum did that for me, and that's what you call true sacrifice. I defied the odds of doctors. They said I would be brain damaged and I would have constant glucose poisoning in my system. And I defied the odds, and my parents never gave up, even though the doctors told them to. It was a real test for them, especially my dad, as he was working at the time and constantly getting calls saying your daughter's gonna die now, and might as well come in and we're gonna switch off incubator machine today. My mum said, no, our daughter's gonna live no matter what you say. She will live, and they prayed to God that I would live, and others prayed with them that I would live as well.
I would say that there's quite a lot of defining moments that actually changed the direction of my life. One of those defining moments was when my mother actually abandoned me and my father actually walked out on my life. I realized that from that moment onwards that nobody owed me nothing. So I had to make it my duty in the world to try and achieve my best in whatever situation may come my way, negative or positive. So with my situation and everything that I've been through, I then make it my duty to really help and work with other young people that have also gone through similar experiences. Growing up in the foster care system myself and seeing all of the mistreatment that I actually experienced as a young woman growing up, this led me to actually shape this practice by influencing this type of work, by working with foster carers. I describe myself as my community's keeper because there is so much people that are hurt out there. There are so much people similar to me that have gone through similar experiences, such as pain, rejection, abuse, abandonment, and are parentless and without their families. So I make it my duty to really help those people that are suffering, that may not have a father, that may not have a mother, that may not have a family that they can depend on and rely on. So I make it my duty to be a community's keeper.
One day my son said to me, "Mum, what's your dream?" Just randomly, and I was like, "Oh, my dream is to, be a journalist." He's like, "Why are you not that?" And that kind of really hit me, and I thought, yeah, why am I not that? Why am I doing this? So yeah, that was the point where I decided, I can do this. Why don't I try and see what the steps are? I'm currently a broadcast journalist at Colourful Radio, an award-winning station based in London. I have a radio show there every Thursday where we talk about the Windrush generation and how that group of people changed Britain, and also the struggles that some of them are facing at the moment in terms of trying to legalise their status in the UK. I've also freelanced with the Huffington Post. I've had work published with them, and I've worked closely with The Voice newspaper, which is Britain's oldest and best-selling black newspaper as well. And I've also worked with some glossy female magazines like Pride magazine as well, so a broad range of media organisations. Some of the main challenges that I've faced in terms of getting to where I am now has been juggling everything. So I'm a mum of 3, I'm a journalist, I'm somebody's fiance, I'm somebody's daughter. It's like, how do I find time to fit that all in? Obviously as well, you've got to get the kids ready for school, you've got to go to parents' evenings, you can't miss sports day, but then also you've got to do work. So for me, the main challenge has been trying to divide my time to make sure that I cover all the areas. With journalism, there's quite a few barriers to entry. It's not an industry where you can just sort of walk in. So that's been quite difficult. But I found once I found my place and people know about you, they're willing to help you. They're willing to say, look, could you write this piece for me? Or I know somebody that knows somebody. So that's something that I'm slowly overcoming. But I would say the main challenge for me is managing the time and sort of fitting everything in.
I grew up with my parents and my brother, and my parents are pastors. So growing up as a pastor's kid, it was quite challenging in the sense that we always had to be at church, go to different events. My parents had to always be accessible to help people. So I didn't usually get to see them as often as I would like. But at the same time, it has been amazing and rewarding. Just seeing lives change because my parents have been able to provide for them in a way. For example, my parents actually adopted 3 girls. My goals are to fulfill God's promises and plans for my life and to get involved in the community and help people. Prosper and Not Perish is a ministry that I founded because I realised that a lot of people go through things and they don't exactly know how to get out of those situations often, and following that, once they get out of something, it may recur. It's just a ministry to help people get the help that they need and also just encourage them to keep going and not allow the circumstances or past experiences to hinder them. Prosper Not Perish is based on Jeremiah 29:11 and it's addressed to the exiles, but more generally, especially applied to society now, it's looking at the plans that God has for people and that there's always hope and a future.
Education is something that is really a passion or a love for me. I haven't always realised it. It's only until now, I guess post-degree, that I've really understood my academic journey. In particular, when I was younger, I did face bullying at primary school, and that did knock my confidence, both academically, socially, mentally and emotionally. And growing up with, I guess, low self-esteem and not realising my capabilities, especially in the learning environment, definitely impacted my stance towards education, learning, even like friends and development. There was a particular moment during my A-levels where there was issue of plagiarism, and I had a meeting with my teacher at the time, and I explained to her that, Miss, I just don't understand the referencing style, but the work is mine, and I thought that was that. But to my surprise, during the lesson, she was typing in every sentence of my essay into Google, and the board wasn't frozen, and so the whole class saw what she was doing, and it just kind of took me back to that childhood memories of bullying. And so that did knock my confidence, especially in a subject that I loved. You know, I've always been passionate about English. It was not until I enrolled onto university and decided to major in English that I fell in love with it again. I fell in love with the subject, with the course, with the lecturers and their teaching styles, and I began to feel safe. And I think in doing something that you love and something that you're passionate about, it really helps to bring the best out of you. And it's just crazy to think that I graduated and not only with a first class degree in English, but also I received the prize for the best dissertation in English.
Very often when we look at the news, we probably don't hear stories from the average man next door or somebody that might look like a family member or a neighbour. And that's what really drives me in my journalism, is to uncover all these hidden stories that exist in Britain but don't always get the limelight that they deserve. So for an organisation like The Voice, for instance, it's a great platform for Black Britons to tell their stories, whereas, for example, they might not be seen in mainstream press. So that's really my passion, is to get all these unheard stories heard.
The student attainment gap is a phenomenon that occurs within the UK, particularly in higher education, in which some students aren't able to attain, I guess you would say, top degrees, either a first or 2-1 classification. Statistics indicate that students with protected characteristics, whether it be from different socio-economic backgrounds or race or gender and sexuality, tend to attain less. And so I've been heavily involved at the University of Derby, working alongside academics such as Dr. Tamzin, who is trying to change the policies surrounding that. We went out to interview as well as create focus groups with a lot of students and ask them about their student experience, whether they've heard of the gap, whether they've experienced it personally, how inclusive the course is, the curriculum. It's a lot of change that needs to be done on a structural level, but I believe within university, I think it can help to eradicate it.
I actually produced a book called A Foster Carer's Guide from a Young Person's Perspective. And I guess the reason why I wrote that book was because I felt so mistreated as a young girl that grew up in the care system. You know, I encountered so many experiences with foster carers where they didn't treat me as though I was their child. You know, they would give me different food to eat from the other young people that they were taking care of. And I felt so much injustice from actually being a foster child. And in terms of the support of this book, I didn't actually have any support along the way. I actually had to make it happen myself. It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of actually getting my foot in the door to actually make things happen myself as a young girl growing up in the system. And I can safely say now that I'm actually actively making the change that I need to make, politically, socially, and as a group of other care leavers as well, which is really powerful.
I actually started writing this book when I was 15 years old. When we actually moved to our house in Derby, I came across the notes through my box and I thought, wow, it had the same title, but I just put so far when I was younger. And it had sort of the same structure, how I imagined it to be. The front cover alone speaks a lot for itself. It has me holding my booties and my hat I would wear in hospital. And it's just such a joy to look back at my journey and see how far I've come. So I'm hoping that the audience will get a real insight into my journey, and just by seeing the picture, they'll see how far I've come from my birth. I want to uplift and inspire others because I want them to be the best they can be. I want them to also thrive above every negative adversities in their life that they go through. Hence why I speak publicly about my story, whether it be at hospitals or colleges, universities, other events like women empowerment events and stuff like that. I think it's very important to allow others to just gain the know-how and to defy the odds.
My faith impacts my wider work quite strongly. I think it's something that's held me and kept me to keep going. And it's something that inspires me, particularly when I'm talking to people. Aside from singing and writing songs, I also write poetry. I also play the saxophone and clarinet. I think there's definitely been a few hurdles that I've had to overcome to get to where I am now, mainly moving on from my past experiences, and it has been quite challenging being a pastor's kid growing up, but it's also something that's helped me to overcome those challenges. Definitely my family, my parents have been very supportive and helped me whenever they could, and my close friends.
Whilst I was at university, I connected with the international office, and they run a programme called Erasmus, and it's funded by the European Union, and they send students to either study abroad in their second year for a semester or work abroad as an internship. I chose the Institute of Cultural Diplomacy in Berlin. I became head of the Asia and Middle East regions, and so I'd just be involved with a lot of editorial work and go to a lot of embassy events and just interview a few ambassadors. So I interviewed HE Ambassador Jahir Salim of Pakistan to Germany at the Embassy of Pakistan. Going in to the whole political sphere and interviewing these dignitaries, but speaking to them through the lens of culture helped me to shape my ideas on how learning, education, or even just the arts really has a big impact on public conversations.
I feel very passionate about the community. And the community to me means coming together as one, as people, to impact and inspire the nation. Oftentimes you do find a lot of negatives in the community because not everyone wants to come together, and that can often be a bad thing. But once you find things that you're all passionate about, the change that you can make as a collective is very, very immense.
I feel like, the community can either make you or break you depending on where you live. Where I live in Shepherd's Bush, West London. I've never moved out of that area. So everybody knows me and knows my families. And sometimes it's the community that can bring out the best in you. So there's been times where I've submitted an article to an editor and it's been rejected. And then I'm feeling like crap. And then I might go for a walk down the park to try and feel better. And I'll see somebody and they might say to me, Sana, I read your article last week. It was brilliant. When are you writing again? Keep it up. Don't stop. And that could automatically shift your mental thinking to say, no, hold on, what are you doing? Why are you quitting on yourself? Go back to your laptop, come out the park, go back to the laptop and resubmit it. So I feel like it's really, really important about the community that you have around you, and also to talk to each other. Very often we're so busy with our lives, we don't even know who our neighbours are, but sometimes just speaking to your neighbour or somebody in your community can help you, can inspire you, they might have a contact. And, don't take advantage of the people in your area. Everybody has a gift of some sort, and it's time that we start sharing them, to help each other.
My motto is progress, not perfection, and so I encounter a lot of young people today who express a sense of anxiety or angst towards the future or to what they want to do. I remember being young myself and not finding my niche or not knowing what career I wanted to pursue, and I guess to young people who are trying to choose whether university is for them or whether they want to stand on their own 2 feet and find work. My motto is always going to be just to take strides, just to do something, just to find something that you're passionate about.
I spoke at a women's conference 2 years ago. I'll never forget, there was a lady in her 50s who just broke down in tears after I shared. And this lady said, thank you so much for sharing your story, because if you hadn't shared your story this morning, she was thinking about overdosing herself just by hearing all her life about negative reports doctors spoke over her. And she was also born similar to me, so we kind of had that resemblance, and it kind of made me think, wow. And I had to keep in touch with her to this very day, and she's doing ever so well since then. So it just goes to show, never keep your story to yourself. You never know who it may touch along your journey.
For people that may be needing guidance, maybe feeling like they need help, maybe feeling isolated right now, I will really urge you to speak out. I would say to deal with your problems before they actually deal with you. And this could be seeking help, through counselling services, seeking help through loved ones, seeking help through someone that you can really confide in.
Look for a mentor as well if you need some sort of guidance as well, and don't be afraid of your own greatness. Don't talk yourself out of opportunities, whether it be filming or something. Don't say I can't do it because I've got children. Don't say I can't do it because I'm a woman or because I'm black or because I'm disabled. Believe in yourself and go forward and just try, and you'll be amazed at what you can actually achieve. Live life, like take every day and every opportunity as something new, like as a blank canvas, and just make the most of every opportunity and try and live as good as possible. You know, be kind to people. That goes a long way in any industry.
I would say to people that are watching to keep going despite any challenges that you're facing right now or have faced in the past, because if you give up, you don't know what your future will look like.
Women who may be feeling like they're alone or disadvantaged background situations, single mothers, etc. So I'm all about women empowerment at the same time, as you know, and making sure that they be the best they can be.
If there's anybody out there that has, you know, a passion for change, a hunger for change, just go for it. It's difficult in the earlier stages as you often feel like there's no sort of support or help, but when people actually see that, you know, you're making a credible impact and you're making a change that is very substantial in the community, you will have all hands on deck. So literally go for it. You know, it all starts with a seed and then it grows and blossoms into a flower, so literally just go for it. Rome wasn't built in a day, which means that the change and the impact that you're wanting to make won't be made in a day, but if you just put your foot into the door, the whole door will eventually open and you will make that change that you ultimately want to see.
You're able to be the best you can be, you're able to rise above a negative report, you're able to achieve academic grades that teachers say you can't, you're able to launch a business. Whatever you want to do, just go for it. It's been a lovely experience being a voice with other ladies to share our story, to turn our pain into power.